Hello, so today I am making a gyro, and this is a gyro with a twist. So just a little background information about this recipe. I had made butter chicken and garlic naan bread, and I'll link that video below, but I had made that, and then I also made this, meatloaf sandwiches. And I was like, well, we have leftovers, but I don't really want those, so what can I make? So I just thought of this recipe here, and I used the meatloaf and the garlic naan bread to make a gyro. So that's the twist. I'm using ground beef and garlic naan bread instead of pita. So for the garlic naan, I have I have a video about that recipe already, and I'll link that down below, or it's right here, and you can go watch that for that recipe. But I'm going to show you how to make the rest of the gyro and show you how it looks all together. But here I have 1 pound of ground beef, and then what else you'll need is a lot of seasoning. So I'd say, depending on how much ground beef you have, since it's a pound, they'll do about, I'd say 1/4 cup of panko breadcrumbs. And then I have my seasonings: basil, oregano, garlic powder, onion powder, gyro seasoning, parsley, Greek seasoning, fenugreek. I have these little seasoning things with herbs, and then a little tomato paste. And I'll say for all these you want to use like around half a teaspoon of it, and say a tablespoon of tomato paste. For the tzatziki sauce, I have some Greek yogurt and some sour cream, lemon juice, minced garlic, and some dill as well for the tzatziki, and a little bit in the meatloaf as well, and some olive oil for the tzatziki. And then for the gyro itself, just when it's done, tomato and lettuce, and you'll need onion as well. Like I said, I just made that recipe up at the top, like from the top of my head, so there's not going to be many measurements, but I'll try my best to give you measurements. But yeah, a lot of seasoning is going in this meatloaf here, so I'll get that started. And you just want to preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 425 degrees Fahrenheit. I do lower temperature so things don't burn. And with this, a lot of grease, is produced when you make this meatloaf, so it will possibly spill over, so be careful with that. So into the meatloaf, or into the ground beef, I'll add panko breadcrumbs. You can use plain or seasoned. Here's the brand I use. Just a little bit of that. That's probably about 3 tablespoons. And then some parsley. That's a tablespoon. I tend to over-season things, so we'll see. That's a teaspoon of garlic powder. And Greek seasoning, I'll put a teaspoon of that. What I did last time was I made the meatloaf, and then I cut it up and made little chunks of meat, and then I put it on the stove with my caramelized onions, and I seasoned it all again. So you just want to do a little bit of seasoning for your meatloaf. Black pepper, probably 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And this is basil leaves. That's about a half a teaspoon. Onion powder. I just did half a teaspoon of that. A little chili powder. Very little, less than 1/4. Probably just want like a dash of chili powder. Just a little bit. Now last time I put a little bit of chili powder in it, it didn't add much flavor to it. So if you want a little spicy kick to it, you can add more to it. And this is oregano. I like oregano in my food, so a half a teaspoon. Pretty much everything is a half a teaspoon. And some ground cumin. half a teaspoon, and a little dill in here. This is freeze-dried dill that my mom made. I barely put any in it. You can put more than that than I did. So you can do a teaspoon, a half teaspoon. And have this herb mix here. It has leek, parsley, basil, tarragon, cilantro, savory, mint in it. And I'll just do a teaspoon. A lot of herbs. And this, and it has dillweed, leek, cilantro, and fenugreek. If you watch my butter chicken video, I use this seasoning for that butter chicken. And a little salt, not too much. Just a teaspoon. And I'm using kosher salt. And the tomato paste. And you just want to use a teaspoon of that. Or you can do a tablespoon. Now this recipe called for ketchup, so if you want to use ketchup you can. So I put about a tablespoon of tomato paste in there. That's what it looks like. So I'm going to mix that up. So I mix it all up. That's what it looks like. You can see all the seasonings in it. And I'm just going to take it and put it into forks. Like that. With my hand. And you see it's kind of separated. And you just want to take each loaf. Well, you want to take each piece and make a loaf with your hands. And you just kind of make it like a mini loaf shape. And you can see. And I like to just do that and shape it on the sides. And I have a pan over here. And I'll just with foil and I'll put that on the pan. And you want to do that for all your pieces. Well, like this video and subscribe to my channel. I say this every video, but my goal is still to get 300 subscribers, so subscribe to my channel, help me reach my goal. And comment down below, like, what's your favorite Greek food to eat, if you eat Greek food. As I mentioned, I've been watching Squid Games. I'm on episode 5, season 1. I should have watched this show a long time ago, when it was popular. But, you know, I don't watch stuff that are popular when it comes out. Like, if everybody likes it, it's not on purpose, but I just don't watch things that I guess is trending. When it trends, I watch it after the fact. I didn't add this in here, but if you wanted to, while it was in the bowl, before you formed it, you can add beef concentrate to it or beef stock. I didn't do that, but you can to add more flavor, or vegetable stock or something like that. But here's all the formed mini meat loaves. That's what they look like. They're kind of small, like around like 5 by 2. So 5 by 2. And I'm going to put this in 400-degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. Just check it for that internal temperature. I think it's 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, so beef is 170 to 160 if you want it well, 170 degrees Fahrenheit internal temperature with your thermometer. And while I do that, I'm going to make my naan bread. I have the dough over here. It's been rising, so I'm going to make that while that cooks. And like I said, I have that video, garlic naan bread recipe. I'll link that in the description. And if you want this gyro recipe, I can make it for you and put that in the description as well. I kind of have one already, but it's like a rough recipe. But if you want that, let me know. Alright, so I finished all the naan. That took a very long time. It took me probably an hour and 10 minutes to do. But here they are. And I just have to put the garlic butter and parsley on top of all of these and they will be done. I'd say do those first and start early because that will take up the bulk of your time. And also I'll show you later. But I'm going to make the tzatziki, and you probably want to do this first and then pop that in the refrigerator to marinate. But I'm going to add sour cream to some Greek yogurt to make the tzatziki. And you can do sour cream just by itself for a tzatziki or Greek yogurt by itself, but I'm going to mix both. And a little olive oil, minced garlic, and dill. I'll just use the rest of this sour cream, which is just about 2 tablespoons. And then the Greek yogurt, I just have some plain Greek yogurt. I don't really like Greek yogurt. It's too tangy for me. I usually get Chobani vanilla, which has a lot of sugar in it, but it's better. And that I'll just add this, which is probably about 1.5 cups. Don't make too much because you don't need that much. You'll probably end up using a tablespoon of your tzatziki sauce on your naan for your gyro. But so I just added about 1/2 cup of that, about 1/2 teaspoon of minced garlic, and about 1 teaspoon of olive oil, and then just 1/2 teaspoon of dill and any other seasoning that you want. But it's currently November 16th, and I'll update you about myself. So I did get recently, I think I was telling you about doing all these job hunts and all that, but I did apply for some jobs, and I had a few interviews, and I have one coming up, but I did get a job. So yeah, I will be working soon. Yay! Jobs aren't fun for, they're like, kids these days don't want to work. I guess it is true. But you have to work. But it'll be a decent job. I like what I guess I'll be doing. I don't know, I start training soon for 3 days, so I'll see how it is. But yeah, not too bad. It'll be my second job ever that I've ever worked. Last time I had a job was in 2023. So it's been a long time. A huge gap in my resume if I don't add film stuff. And there's a little deal. But I'll tell you how that goes. Oh, I forgot about the lemon. So you want to add a little lemon juice to this. And like I said, it's November 16th. I'll add about a tablespoon. And 1/4 teaspoon. But it's November 16th, like I said, but this video might not come out until December or January. But here's the tzatziki. And you just mix it. And there you go. And just put that in the refrigerator for a little bit. I'll probably be done in about an hour, so it'll be in there for an hour. I feel like the longer the better, but it doesn't have to be overnight or anything crazy. You can eat it right now as is, but you want it to marinate to have a lot more of those flavors coming through. So the meat loaves are done. Here they are. Now you want to take now you want to take them and just have a cutting board here and cut them into cubes. So I'm going to cut it downward and then 1, 2, 3. Just cut them into cubes, really. And then cut them again. Half them. And you don't really have, in the oven, you don't have to cook them all the way through because you're going to put them on the stove top again. Here's that. And so that's one. And you want to do that for all of them. And then when you have all your cubes, then you just kind of want to just crumble those up a little bit. Not too crazy. Just crumble them up. So kind of like lamb chunks. And they don't have to be like ground beef, just kind of chunks. Just crumbled, really. Alright, so I crumbled up all the meat. That's kind of what it looks like. It's not really ground, but you know. And then over here I have some caramelized onions. It's just white onion. I chopped up and sliced it. And then I put olive oil down on it and then sauteed it for a little bit. Then I put about 2 tablespoons of water into it and let that water evaporate. And then afterwards I added some more Greek seasoning and salt to it, and you can add a little pepper to it. But now you want to just dump your onions in there, and I'll get all those out. And just mix in your onions. And also in the bottom of this, I added some more olive oil. And you just want to cook that on the stovetop, or you can just eat it now, really. But you can cook that on the stovetop and add some more Greek seasoning, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, the same seasonings, parsley, oregano, basil, anything that you want to add to it. It's pretty seasoned right now, but if you want to add more seasonings, you can. And yeah, I put about a tablespoon of olive oil. I might add some more, I don't know, but then I'll put that on the stovetop, probably medium heat, and just let that cook for about 3 more minutes. And you're done with your filling. I have finished the naan and I buttered it. I have a few here. And this is just the ground beef. There you go. And so what you want to do is you want to take your naan and your tzatziki, mix that up, and just put that on there. A little bit, like so. Then you want to put some of your meat, we'll call it gyro meat, on there like so. I don't know how this one is going to be because I haven't tasted it. There you go. And then some feta cheese. I got a feta chunk. And just crumble that over top. Like so. And then tomatoes, I cut up some tomatoes. You can add just like 1 or 2 across the center, and some lettuce here. This lettuce has turned bad, but just over top like that. That's the gyro here. And you just, eat it like so. But yeah. And to go with this, I'm just doing a little bit of french fries. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you make this recipe, and thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, and see ya.